Hey y'all, so I was going to take y'all through some cubing some deer meat. I tried to post a video earlier last week on the TikToker, and it was a picture of Reed running up on his first buck that he'd shot, and he was all ecstatic, and he wanted to get it mounted immediately. And it was funny to me that got like rejected. They wouldn't let me post it. Whatever, I violated some community guidelines, and it was just hilarious to me that we can sit there and watch Meat Dad and watch these girls wear half their clothes, and that's all cool, and we don't worry about that violating community guidelines. But somebody actually going out there and looking for food themselves and not going to the store, that's not cool. So it's just funny to me how backslidden we are as a society, and we don't actually know where our food comes from. But today is August the 12th, and this deer was actually taken back in October, November, and it's fed us all year long. And so we may not realize, I don't know if everybody understands that the deer that we shoot in November doesn't feed us for the weekend, it feeds us all year long. And we usually take about 4 or 5 deer a year as a household, and to me that's what we can eat in 1 year. And I know that because of how much we've ate over the past, and that's just how much our family does. And so I don't try to overtake, but that's just what we do. And so it's just funny to me how something can violate some community guidelines, but we don't really understand where everything comes from. But we'll take y'all through the process of cooking this deer. All right, now I've taken that cube steak and I've let it set in some milk for about 30 minutes. I've sit there and just let kind of the milk try to get in with the meat a little bit, and that's just going to help me bind my flour. I don't do anything special. Every time I try to do something special, the kids say something about it tasting nasty or something like that. They don't want me to mess with perfection. So I take just cube steak. There's one of the kids.
It's because the seasoning.
She doesn't like extra seasoning. She likes it basic. She likes salt, pepper, milk, and flour. That's it. So that's what I do. I let it sit in some milk for about 30 minutes.
Use only 1 cup of salt.
And I let it sit there. While I'm doing that, I got to go ahead and start making my biscuits. My biscuit recipe is pretty cool, or pretty simple, just like that. I just take 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, a tablespoon and 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and I take 2 cups of heavy cream and 1 teaspoon of salt. I mix all the dry ingredients together, and then come back with that 2 cups of milk. With the heavy cream.
Like and subscribe to this video.
So I preheat my oven at 450 degrees, and while that's preheating, I'm starting to do my cube steak, as you had the other girl. And so anyways, I'm preheating my oven at 450 degrees, and then I've got my pan greased, and I'm gonna stick that in the oven real quick.
Hello.
But that, it's so funny talking about that TikTok and how they don't like me to post a video of the deer laying on the ground. But they're cool with posting all of my videos of me cooking that very same deer. It's just wild how detached we are from that. While we're sitting in the stand, a lot of times, me and Shiloh, we sit there and chant, cube steak tonight, cube steak tonight,
cube steak tonight, cube steak tonight.
So, they know exactly where this deer is coming from and where it's going to, and it's just funny. A lot of these social media folks, they have no idea how this is being used or what it's doing for our family. And I just want y'all to make sure that y'all don't lose sight of where food came from. So anyways, we'll take y'all through this process real quick. These biscuits, I take them and I flatten them out real flat. I've done it where I just put them in balls, but I found that the balls don't cook thoroughly. So I do it real flat and lay them out.
Do you know what's also really weird? That I don't like shooting deers. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Cube steak tonight.
But you don't like shooting them, but
tonight.
like the way it tastes, don't they?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So it's all right. You ain't gotta like shooting them. Not everybody does. It's cool. All right, y'all. I'm gonna show you just how I check my grease. I've got it turned on about medium high, which is about 6.5 clicks on my stove. However it is for you. We got our acre peas going. They are looking fantastic. I just take our cube steak that's marinated in the milk, and I just flop it in the flour, fry it. When I bring it out, I take that fried cube steak and I season that just like that. So do it like we do back in Chick-fil-A. Hot food served fast by happy people. So I'm just gonna sit here and I get all that the flour off to make sure we don't burn our grease. I'll lay it down in there so we don't splash our grease all over the place. Let's go ahead and kick on a fan. Get all that flour off. I listen to the bubbles in the grease while I'm frying. It's going to get to be kind of a roar. I don't do time for how long it stays in the grease. I'm just listening to how it's bubbling. I get it good and shaken off by all the flour, and then I slide it in that grease and move on to the next thing. Once I get this good and full in the pan, you don't want to get too many in there, but you want to get enough to where the whole pan's covered. If you get too many in there, you run a risk of burning the grease too with too much flour in there. I shake off all my flour, lay it in there, and I've got almost a full pan. I'm gonna put one more small little steak over there in the corner, maybe two more. You hear that nice roar from that grease boiling off that flour in there. That's like the hot part of the cooking. So that roar's been going on, I'm gonna say probably 30 seconds to maybe a minute or so now. And I start flipping my cube steaks over. You'll notice the bottom side is a little more cooked than the top side. A lot of times you'll notice the blood from the meat starting to rise up. That's exactly what you want. You want that meat to start rising, or that blood to start rising to the top. And you get you a good crust on that bottom side of the pan. And man, it smells really good up in here. I got these acre peas going. Let's see what they're looking like. Oh yeah. Now the kids like to see the cheesy mac, so I got that going. We got our temperature rising on that water. The youngest, Arden, she loves that cheesy macaroni and cheese, so I always have to cook that for her, despite it not being the best thing in the cabinet. Now, if you hear that roar has gone down to just a simmer now, that's whenever I know that I need to be able to go ahead and start pulling those cube steaks off. I usually line me a plate with a couple of paper towels on either side, two different ways. I don't know why I do it two different ways, but that's just what I do to be able to make sure I catch all that grease. Like I say, I only use just a basic seasoning. Every time I try to do anything crazy, like try to add some saccharies or season up something different crazy to add some different flavor to it, maybe some SPG or something like that, the kids immediately balk it. I take that grease off, make sure I'm not trailing a mess up in here. Queen Jules, get after me. Whoop, drop that one. It went back in there for a little bit longer. That's fine. It needed a little bit. Now, you see these are coming off kind of light. It's exactly what you want. I want it light because we've cubed this meat to keep it nice and tender. The last thing you want to do is cook it to death, so you have to chew on it for 20 minutes before you can swallow it. Now here's the secret ingredient. It is salt and pepper, just like that. I know a lot of people kind of are going to be getting after me for not seasoning before, but I just find that the season pops a lot better whenever I season afterwards. I can season my flour beforehand, but it takes so much more seasoning to be able to get that flour to the point to where you got the flavor that you got afterwards. So that's just me. That's what I found that works. I've tried it several different ways, but to me that's the best way. People, I've had people over, like my mom, for instance, who can cook the mess out of cube steak, and I ain't saying nothing wrong with the way Mama cooks her cube steak. I'm sorry for even thinking that, but I'm just saying that whenever they come over, they love my cube steak and they eat the fire out of it. But whenever they come over and they see me cooking my cube steak, they think I've done something wrong, and it's just the way I cook my cube steak. Sorry, Mom, love you. Her cube steak has always come out a real crusty, dark brown. It's not just overcooked, it's the way that she cooks it. And I don't know what brings out that dark brown crust, but it is completely different from the batter that I get off of mine. And she uses flour and milk the same way I use mine. I don't know. And it's not that the seasoning is in the flour. It's just a different way that she cooks something. She does something just a little bit different. And it might be the difference of beef versus deer. I doubt it, but that would be the only difference. Xana is not a wild game cooker. She cooks it when I bring it, but it's not her favorite thing. It's not her forte. So I'm going to go ahead and flip these over. They've been in there for about 60 seconds or so. I can hear that my sizzle has kind of gone down a little bit. Oh, there's the timer for the biscuits. I'm going to go ahead and pull them out while these cook a little bit longer to get the other side. Oh, yes, sir. Ain't nothing wrong about that right there. I know y'all can't smell it, but that right here is fine. See right here, I'm gonna go ahead and get my spatula. Oh yeah, nice brown bottom, flaky top. Take that right there, and that right there is gonna soak up some cane syrup like nobody's business. Throw some butter on the top, let it soak in. These steaks are starting to finish out with the timer off. These steaks are the sizzle's starting to die down pretty low. Whenever that does, we know that they're ready to pull out. I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all, move my steak on over here closer to the camera to be able to show y'all what I'm doing with that and how they look. Like I say, this is kind of a light crust. I'm not doing anything crazy about the cooking. I don't want to cook them. I want them to be a little bit, we're gonna say the medium to medium well range. These are about, I'm gonna say, they're not quite a ½ inch thick. They're about, I'm gonna say 3/8 inch thick. Not paper thin like a lot of times you might get. But this is how I take my pepper. I just take it. I'm just taking it. Say liberally. Liberally mean a lot. Liberally mean pretty good bit. I ain't really sure. But I say it all the time. I'm going to put a liberal amount on there. I know what liberal means for other folks whenever they're running for office and all that jazz, but we ain't talking about that. We're just talking about some good eating cube steak. I'll set that back over there, move my cube steak over here to be able to throw some more in the grease. Shake that off, get another one started. And this will probably be the last little pot. And then we'll have a plate full of cube steak. I bag these up when I do all my processing myself at the house. I had to kind of teach myself that way whenever, always. I've taken it to several processors, and I love taking it to somewhere they're processed, but whenever I do that, it is, letting them take care of the something that I've taken down. I'm not knocking anybody for taking it to a processor. I have gotten this way because I got tired of spending a lot of money at processing places for something I could be doing at the house. I don't have a big money setup. I've got like you saw the grinder that I cubed my cube steak with. I think that's a $30 Amazon purchase. I like the acrylic one like that because it washes real good in the dishwasher. I don't have to worry about getting in between those metal blades. It works out real good for me. I've got maybe it's a half a horse grinder that I use to be able to grind up for my sausage and my hamburger meat. What you think, Shiloh? You gonna taste test it?
Yes, I really want to.
I usually only let Shiloh taste test if she helps me, but because of the video today, I'll let her show you all what it tastes like. It's hot, she said. You can't put it back on there.
Hold on, I need it.
You done lick one side of it. You put it on top, that must be your piece underneath it too. My goodness. And caught you on camera.
Well, I couldn't hold it. That was
Okay.
not fake.
Tell me what it tastes like. Describe it.
It's awesome.
It's what? I can't hear you.
I love it.
You love it. Well.
Oh my gosh.
You think you were with me whenever we killed that one?
Yeah, I think so. You might have been the one that.
You were with me a lot this last year.
Yeah.
We were finishing out the last little bit of this. I got the
Like,
kids.
we literally couldn't find the deer, and then I saw an antler poking out on the ground.
Yeah, we did have one like that, didn't we?
Yeah, that might be it. Don't set that out on there.
I'll try not to. Nothing simple, nothing crazy, complex cooking today. We got some biscuits and the mac and cheese for the kids and the anchor peas and cube steak. But this is one of their favorite meals, and I was going to I know not everybody, I say it's not a crazy complex, but not everybody knows how to cook from basic stuff. So it's kind of, anyway, I can be able to put all this stuff on video. That way, if anybody else is wanting to do some cooking at the house and to know how the deer meat comes from me sitting in the deer stand over here on the top of the table. But like I said about the processing, I don't do anything extravagant. I usually 4 or 5 deer a year. I take I'll cube what I can cube because the kids absolutely love all the cube steak they can get their hands on. I do a lot of sausage, and if I've got a lot of sausage in the freezer, then I just take what I can on some hamburger meat because that helps out whenever we're trying to make some spaghetti or lasagna or whatever, not having to worry about getting something from the grocery store. But I appreciate y'all hanging out with us, and I wish you could get a piece of this cube steak with us because this is some pretty dang good stuff.